Hey there. Another review of Tai Lopez's 67 Steps, and this is a review of the reviews. We're going to cover steps 31 to 40. So let's get right down to it. We did these last 10 steps, again, expanding on the principles that Tai talks about, getting a better balance of health, wealth, love, and happiness, or fulfillment, as he sometimes calls it. So let's look at step number 31. Step number 31 was how to manage people. And, the key takeaways that I got from this one were you can't delegate what you don't know. So don't think, I meet a lot of people who have startups, and this 4-hour work week's responsible for a lot of this, I think. But people who think, I'm just going to outsource everything, and I can sit at home or sit on the beach and collect the money from my business. And I don't really have to understand the minutiae. And the minutiae, well, maybe not, but you certainly have to understand how things are done, why you're doing them. And I actually think you should understand the processes as well. So you can't delegate what you don't know, because how do you know that the person is doing it right? And the important things that are integral to your life, like your health, you can't outsource that. You have to be aware of it. And you have to, we'll talk about this later, prioritize that, So get rid of the things that are not central. Yes, delegate those. Not central to yourself or your business. Understand those things as you delegate them. And, keep the things that are central to yourself inside and do them. So that was step 31. Step 32, slot machine probability. I'm just going to move the microphone cable. Hold on. Okay. Step 32 was slot machine probability. And Tai has a slot machine analogy, which is a very good one. And that is, you have two slot machines. Machine A pays out better than machine B, like better odds. But machine B may pay out faster. Now, a lot of people will play machine B because they want to get the money right away. But the truth is, you should play the machine that has the better odds. And that really is about, you have two choices, or many choices about what to pursue. Pursue the thing that has the better odds of success. Pursue the relationship that has better odds of being fulfilling. And be aware of it. Don't let yourself be fooled. Nietzsche's quote that convictions are more dangerous enemies of truth than lies. And that is, be very aware of what you're believing in and why you're believing it. Okay? And Warren Buffett has this whole thing where every year he throws out one belief. Obviously, the belief that he's going to make a lot of money is not one of those beliefs he throws out. But, don't have strong convictions that you haven't tested. And I would argue probably don't have strong convictions. Step 33, teaching pigs to fly, or as I mentioned in that episode, I heard it teaching pigs to sing. And that's when to persevere and when to quit, both with yourself and with other people. And there are certain people you will meet who don't want to learn. They don't want to improve their understanding of life. They don't want to improve their situation in life. They may say that they do, but their actions say otherwise. And there's nothing wrong with being ignorant, because we're all ignorant about certain things. But there's difference between being ignorant and being stupid. And pigs don't want to learn. Pigs get bad rap in this one. Pigs don't want to learn, even though pigs are supposedly smarter than dogs. There you go. And helping pigs is a waste of time, because they really don't listen to you, and in the end they're probably going to either turn around and bite you or betray you or whatever. Learn to discriminate against the pigs. Pigs. Step 34, the 10 dark years. The media will tell you a lot about successful people when they're successful. Tai's example was Bill Gates, but we can look at many other famous people. And the issue is, especially with Gates, they skip over the 10 years he worked in a cubicle. You can pretty much pick any writer and the same kind of thing. Some people, their 10 dark years is built into their mythology, like J.K. Rowling, but there's this thing that the media doesn't explain to you, and that is that life takes time. You can't force things. My tree over there takes time to grow. I can't do anything. No positive affirmations are going to make that tree go faster. So, step 34 was the 10 dark years. Be aware of it and hone your craft. Be patient. Step 35, ignoring the 99% and the 1/10 rule. So, quote from Alienation saying that the secret to life is ignoring 99 out of 100 people, but doing everything that the remaining 1% says. And this is very valid. It's about choosing your advisors, really. Again, look at people critically and say, are they successful? Are they not successful? How are they successful? Does everything line up with my belief? And then the other thing, the 1/10 rule, is you're probably only going to get 10% of the way, 10% of the success of somebody you emulate. So emulate somebody way up there. Don't emulate your uncle who makes 10% more than you, because you're really not. It's not going to really do you any good. Emulate Warren Buffett. Emulate Stephen Hawking, or go for the top. And the quote from this one that I loved was Voltaire's quote, "And good is the enemy of great." All right. Step 36 was the sucker in the room. Tai's much used quote, and that is, don't be naive and think that there aren't forces out there taking advantage of you, because people go after their own best interests. They don't go after your best interests. Very rare. Very, very rare. And so understand this inversion, that you might be trying to persuade, but people are trying to persuade you all the time. That's for sure. We are constantly bombarded by advertising. Look at now versus 100 years ago. And so one of the ways to build up your inner strength about this is to remove the amount of media that you consume, especially this insidious thing of persuasion that's in the guise of information, i.e. the news. So step 37, why restaurants fail, controlling the 3 factors of production. So you have 3 factors. Traditionally, we talk about in production systems 3 factors: labor, land, and capital. It's actually land, labor, and capital. Sorry. And in a restaurant, you need all 3. You need the land, you need the location, you need the connections. That's land. Labor, you need the skill. And capital, you need the money. You need those 3 things. Restaurants need them. You need them. And also in this one, you talked about assessing your advantages. Do you have an advantage in one of those 3 areas that you have over your potential competition? And make sure you have an advantage. If you don't have an advantage, pivot, as we say in the tech world. Take this company and do something slightly different to where you do have an advantage. Step 38, throw idiots to the crocodiles. Who do you want as an ally, and who do you want as a competitor? Because life is a competition. And one of the easier ways to think about this is, who don't you want to be around? And that is these idiots that you're gonna feed to the crocodiles, but you don't want to feed them to the crocodiles. I don't really understand the title of this one anyway. You don't want to feed them to crocodiles. You want to compete against them. You want to find a business where your main competition are not doing their job right, and giving you a potential advantage. So yes, compete with idiots, and luckily there's a lot of idiots out there. And get rid of low self-esteem or distorted self-esteem people who think they're much better than they are, or people who think they're much worse than they really are. Ditch them. Step 39, alienating the 82% with your messy message. And that is Don't focus on the universal. Don't try and think you're going to make something that everybody in the world's going to work. There's a great, you can see on YouTube, the Ali G one where he talks about the ice cream glove or whatever, because it's great for everybody because everybody has hands and everybody loves ice cream. So, yeah. Don't focus on the universal. Focus on the 18%. If you can get 18% of people to hear you, become engaged with you, man, you're going to be successful. And don't be afraid to be so strongly focused on this 18% that you kind of upset the 82%. That's fine. They'll come around, or you don't care anyway. And, just make sure you're doing the right thing for the right reasons. And make your mess your message. The traumas that you've had, the difficulties that you've had, this is the story of your life. Don't dwell on them, but realize that these flaws, these facets, make you attractive to a certain sector of the population, and make you legitimate and make you vulnerable, and people like vulnerable. So don't try and hide your flaws or hardships. And finally, step number 40, practical pessimism. Move towards optimism through pessimism. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And it's not about being negative. Some people say, oh, that's a negative way. When you put on a seatbelt, you're not being negative. You're preparing for the worst. And contemplate the downside of things. Make multiple plans in case something doesn't go right. Build your skills. Learn more, as always. When you look at, in this one, Tai talks about Conrad Hilton building up the hotel chain, how he had it and lost it in the Depression, held on to one and built it again, even bigger, the biggest hotel chain in the world, I guess, at one time. So, practical pessimism. Things will go wrong. Be prepared for them. So I'm trying to motor through these. I'm sorry, it was a bit long. I could move that over here so I wouldn't have to turn my head so much. There we go. Steps 31 through 40. I'm not going to recap them again because I've talked long enough. I hope you're enjoying these. We're going to start off with step 41. That'll be the next video coming up after this one, and we'll see you around. Please subscribe, stick around, send comments. I love to write answer comments, so let's go for it. See you later.